What makes a good website? What are the elements that make a website good? That's a question that I get a lot, or some variation of that question. And before I get into that, I want to give you a little bit of an analogy. So, a few months ago, I went to the eye doctor. I needed my usual checkup, but I also was kind of having some headaches. So, I thought maybe my prescription has changed. And sure enough, my prescription had changed just ever so slightly. But also, the doctor was like, the contacts you're wearing don't have the right shape. They're not properly fitting your eyes. And so that's also causing some problems, which I didn't really know that there are different shapes of contacts. But, anyways, so I got a new prescription. He recommended, use these contacts. These are really good. These will fit better. And so I went on my way. Now I don't have headaches, I see better, all that fun stuff. And that checkup is basically what my website audits are. It's just a checkup with specific recommendations. The doctor didn't just say, you need new contacts, go find some. He gave me specific recommendations on what brand to wear. And so I wanted to walk you through what I look at when I'm doing a website audit. And so I want to walk you through that process and give you the gist of what I'm looking at and critiquing so that maybe you can look at these things on your own website and help improve your website. Or obviously, you can have me do a website audit if you really want. So, the first thing that I do is have my clients fill out a little quick questionnaire because I am a fresh perspective, but like I'm new to this business. I may not have ever interacted with them before. I may not know their business. So I don't just audit a website and say, well, this is what I would do because I like purple and I like green and this font would be better. It's not just my own preferences. I need to make sure that their website is a really good reflection of their brand, but also helping them reach their goals because that's the point of a website is that the website helps you reach your goals. So they fill out the questionnaire, they give me, information about their brand personality, the goals of their website, the goals they're trying to reach in their business, and even some things that, they may not like about their website or they're not sure about, and anything they really do like. Because sometimes they're like, I really like my, header or whatever. I really like my images. Okay, well then I won't, unless they're just truly, truly bad, I will leave that alone. Or I might say, hey, these images are good, but you need to XYZ. So I get that questionnaire so that I am armed with the right information I need to perform a good website audit. So then I dive into their website and I am looking at a lot of different things. So first, I'm looking at their messaging because yes, I'm a website designer, so I care about the design and the look of everything, but I want to make sure that the messaging is clear. And even though I'm not a copywriter, I have seen enough good copy and bad copy over the last 10 years to know what is good and bad. So I'm not going to rewrite your entire homepage, but I will look at headings and just kind of make sure that, hey, this is clear, it's easy to understand, and make some recommendations on what should be simplified, changed, or whatever. Then I will move on to, of course, the design part, my favorite part, looking at the colors and the fonts and the spacing. So I'm not looking, again, it's not, I don't like these colors, they don't work well together. It's looking at, do these colors make sense? Are you using them consistently? Is the usage good? Meaning, are you using a very pale yellow background with white text on it that is impossible to read? I'm going to tell you to change that because it's not a good use of your colors. I'm going to look at the consistency, like I said, and are you consistent in, the colors of your buttons, the colors of your headings, things like that. I'm looking at the consistency in the fonts. Are the buttons all using the same font? Are the headers all using the same font? Is the sizing consistent, or does the sizing of your of your text change throughout the page? That's not good. I mean, there's a difference between obviously headers and body text. That's going to be different sizing. But if you have paragraphs that are 14 point and paragraphs that are 18 point and things like that, that's not good. So we want to make sure that consistency is good. We want to make sure that things are legible. Are the fonts you're using, are they legible? Again, the colors, is it too pale of a background? Is it too dark of a background? Even sometimes people may use too bold of a color. So if it's like a really neon pink and you're putting text on top of it, yes, the white on pink may be okay to read, but the pink is so bright and bold that it is hard to look at. I don't know if you've ever seen just images, memes, maybe on Pinterest. Sometimes people literally do it with like their flyers where it's like red on blue or blue on red, and it literally hurts to look at. That's called vibration, and it makes it hard to look at because the colors are so close together that there's not enough contrast and your eyes just kind of flip out. That's a very layman's terms explanation, but we want to make sure that the colors and the fonts are really working to enhance your brand, not make it look amateur, not make it look cluttered. We want you to look professional and cohesive. So that's something that I'm going to make a lot of comments on. If, hey, I think you should use this font, or this font is different. Like you only use this font one time and I don't know why it's here. So these are the kinds of things I'm looking at. And I mentioned the spacing. So I love white space. I love white space. Most designers do. But we also don't want there to be too much white space. So I'm often looking at spacing in terms of, are things too close together? Does this page feel cluttered? Does it feel like everything's really squished together? Like we need some breathing room. We don't want this to be like Christmas or like Black Friday in Walmart. Like we want this to be, some breathing room. But like I said, we don't want too much. So we don't need the elements on our pages to be social distancing. They don't need to be 6 feet apart. We want them to be a nice distance apart. And there's no hard or fast rule that I can tell you that like, oh, they need to be an inch apart or 2 inches or 50 pixels. Like there's no hard and fast rule that I can just give you a guideline on. It's just something that designers know, which I know is not helpful, but that's something to pay attention to is the spacing. Does it feel good? Or does it feel like I put something over here and then put a bunch of space and then it's awkward placement, And then I'm looking at images. So I'm looking at the images that you're using and do they make sense? Do they feel like they fit your brand? And obviously, if they're images of you, I'm probably not going to say much because those are images of you, so they do fit your brand. I might say like, hey, like these images are really dark and you typically like your color palette and everything else about your brand is very light and airy, so you might want to brighten your pictures. That could be something I suggest. Or if you're using, maybe you have a few pictures of you, but then you have a lot of stock photos, it might be, hey, these stock photos are really cheesy and generic and they look they're from the 90s. Obviously, we don't want any of that. So I might recommend new stock photos. Or if it's, you have good stock photos, but they don't feel cohesive. Like this one's a very clean, flat lay on a white desk. And then this other one is a wooden table flat lay. Well, those two are different aesthetics. They don't go well together. That's something that a lot of people mess up with their stock photos. Like Unsplash is a great resource because there's tons of free photos. They're very creative. They're very well done, but there's such a variety. And so people will be like, ooh, I like this one and I like this one. but they don't go together at all. So you want to use photos that feel at least like they were taken by the same person or in the same environment. That again will make your site feel more cohesive. And then this is one of the biggest things that I look at is how is the layout and the calls to action and everything, how is everything working together to help you reach your goals? So let's say that the client said in their questionnaire, "Hey, my big goal is to fill my membership. That's like the main focus of my business this year." But I'm not really seeing a lot of attention being given to the membership. Like, yes, there's a sales page, but that doesn't seem to be the main call to action across the website. That's something that I'm going to be giving a lot of attention to. So I'm going to be making a lot of recommendations. Okay, on the homepage, we need to change this call to action to send people to the membership, or this is, what we need to send people to on this page. We want to make sure that we're sending people where we want them to go. We want to be sending them in the right direction. And then the last thing that I always look at in audits is SEO. So I make recommendations on how to better optimize the on-page content and the back-end content so that you can help improve your chances of showing up in Google search. So that's the kind of rundown of what I'm looking at. It does kind of seem like a lot, and usually it's like a 3 to 4 page PDF of links and specific recommendations. Again, I'm not just like, you need new pictures, you need, like, this needs to change, this isn't good. Like, I give you those specific recommendations. So again, hopefully this was helpful for you to look at your own website and maybe review it yourself. If you're interested in getting a website audit from me, I will put the link down in the show notes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put it in the video description. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Be sure and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see y'all next time.